Is your favorite wide receiver 2 in the NFL an S tier or an F tier? It's time to find out with a brand new tier list. Make sure to leave a thumbs up on the video if you enjoy and comment down below what tier list you want to see next. Let's hop right into the video. Okay, so starting off, we've got Jalen Waddle. We're off to a really good start here. I think Jalen Waddle belongs, he's a really good wide receiver too. He's really good. But after this last season, maybe last 2 seasons, he has not been as impressive as we would have liked to see. I think I'm going to put him in B tier. He's right there, though. He's on the very edge of A tier, and it hurts me to put him in B. But until I see otherwise, he is a B tier wide receiver. No, I can't. I can't do it. He's B tier. I'm sorry. Travis Hunter, we have not seen him play. We haven't seen him play. But I'm putting him in A tier. No, I'm not. I'm putting Travis in B, and I'm moving Jalen Waddle up to A. Everything I said before is wrong. Jalen Waddle is an A tier wide receiver 2. We haven't seen Hunter play, but I think he will be a B tier wide receiver 2 for now. He's a rookie, so we'll give him time to develop. Tyler Lockett as a wide receiver 2 in 2025. I'm sorry. This is a D tier wide receiver 2. I'm not moved by it. I wouldn't be moved if Calvin Ridley was the wide receiver 2, let alone Tyler Lockett. The Titans are in for a world of hurt. Moving on to Marvin Mims Jr. as your wide receiver 2. This is also a D tier. I think he's right there with Tyler Lockett. I think Mims is very good. He's a good slot receiver, but the Broncos need a true wide receiver too, and I think all my Denver Broncos fans out there would agree. Moving on to Xavier Worthy. Look, I might be reaching here, but I think Xavier Worthy is an A tier wide receiver too. I think he would be a B tier wide receiver 1. So to have him as a wide receiver 2, the Chiefs are very, very lucky. And by the end of the year, it's going to be Rashee Rice as the 2. It is what it is. Moving on to Trey Tucker. I think Trey Tucker is one of the most underrated players in the entire NFL. So as a wide receiver 2, I'd probably put him in that C tier range. Moving on to Mike Williams. I'm sorry, as a wide receiver 2, this is an F tier wide receiver 2. I don't want him as my wide receiver 2. I wouldn't want him as my 3. I'd barely want him as my 4. So wide receiver 2, I don't think I'd consider him the wide receiver 2 with the Chargers, but it is what it is. George Pickens, the wide receiver 2. Oh, man, to have George Pickens as a wide receiver 2, how lucky do you have to be? That's our first S tier wide receiver 2. I think that he's above Jalen Waddle. I think he's above Xavier Worthy, so it's fair to put George Pickens in that S tier. Moving on to Wan'Dale Robinson. I really like Wan'Dale Robinson. He gets a ton of targets. I'm going to put him in that. I'm putting him in C. I'll put him in C with Trey Tucker, although I'd put him above Trey Tucker. I think he's very good. I think he could be in that B tier, but I have to see it, I guess, this year if he can continue that level of production that he had last season. Moving on to Davante Smith. This is another S tier wide receiver 2, and I would put him above George Pickens. So when you see this list, it is in order from left to right. That's how I feel. That's who I believe is better than who. So Davante Smith is better than George Pickens, definitively. No doubt in my mind. He's one of the best, if not the best wide receiver 2 in the entire NFL. So easily is going into S tier. Deebo Samuel. I don't care what anybody has to say about Deebo Samuel. I cannot put him any higher than C tier. There is nobody so far from C and above. So Trey Tucker, I would take him over Trey Tucker and Wan'Dale Robinson. But everybody above Deebo, I would rather have. And for that reason, I'm putting Deebo Samuel into C tier. Moving on to my guy, Pop Douglas. I love Demario Douglas. I don't love him as a wide receiver 2. I don't think he's going to end up the wide receiver 2. I think Kyle Williams could do that. Stephon Diggs is very good. But then you also got Kyle. You got Kayshon Boutte. It's really just a carousel of wide receivers. I love Demario Douglas, but he is on the same tier as Marvin Mims and Tyler Lockett. Moving on to Rome Odunze. He didn't have the best first season, but I still have a lot of hope for him as a wide receiver 2. I'll put him in that C tier right above Trey Tucker. Moving on to Jameson Williams, a very, very underrated wide receiver 2. I'd put him into B tier though. I know he had 1,000 yards. Last year was a great year from him. Breakout season. I love to see what he can do again this year, building off of last year. Putting him in B tier for now. I'm kind of just interested to see how he can do maybe without the best, perfect, most amazing system around him, just taking the tops off defenses. I don't think defenses are going to be caught off guard with him as much as they were last year. Moving on to Matthew Golden. Matthew Golden, we have not seen play, and he's a speedster, so I kind of feel like he fits in that D tier. We haven't seen him play. Don't mind me. But I think he can still be pretty good. I know I'm giving Travis Hunter the benefit of the doubt, but I'm not going to do the same for Matthew Golden. Jordan Addison, this is a very, very good wide receiver too, heavily underrated. I'd put him in B tier right above Travis Hunter, but not quite as good as Jameson Williams. Not really that close either. I think Williams is better than Jordan Addison there. Maybe Williams belongs in A tier. I think he could slide back and forth in there, but Addison for sure, B tier wide receiver too. And that's no discredit to Jordan Addison. I just think the guys above him are better, and I don't think he belongs in the same tier as Jalen Waddle or Xavier Worthy. Moving on to Darnell Mooney. Darnell Mooney might be the most underrated wide receiver too in the entire NFL. I think he is a B tier wide receiver too. Hopefully, I'm not giving him any disrespect by saying that he's in the same league as Jordan Addison and Jameson Williams. All credit to Darnell Mooney for basically reviving his career with the Atlanta Falcons. Love him. Love his play style. He is a fantastic wide receiver too. The Falcons have a great underrated duo. Moving on to Adam Thielen. I'm not going to disrespect him by saying he's F tier, but I'm going to put him in D tier. You do not want Adam Thielen as the wide receiver 2 anymore. I wouldn't even say he's the wide receiver 2 because you got Tet, you got Coker, you got Xavier Legette, and I think all three of those guys will be ahead of Adam Thielen going into next season. Moving on to Rashid Shaheed, another speedster. Would I rather have him than all the guys in D tier? No. I'll put Rashid Shaheed into D tier. I'm being very nice, though, about that F tier. Nobody has found themselves in there aside from Mike Williams, which is kind of sad, but it is what it is. Sorry, my boy. Moving on to Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin is an excellent wide receiver too. I'm putting him in A tier. I don't care that he's coming off of an injury. He was having a monster season last year. He is better than Jameson Williams. He's better than Jordan Addison. He's better than Darnell Mooney. He's definitely better than Travis Hunter. So for those reasons, he has to be an A tier wide receiver. I would probably put him above Xavier Worthy, but I'm not sure that I'd quite put him above. No, I would. I'd put him above Jalen Waddle. He's definitely an A-tier wide receiver. Moving on to Michael Wilson of the Arizona Cardinals. Wilson, another very underrated wide receiver. I almost want to put him in B-tier, but I'll put him in C-tier with Wan'Dale Robinson and Rome Odunze. Moving on to Davante Adams. I don't like that everybody says that Adams is washed. I don't think Davante Adams is washed whatsoever. I think that he's still a top 10 wide receiver in the league. I'd put him in that S tier range. If Davante Adams is your wide receiver too, oh goodness, prayers to your defense. Puka Nacua and him are going to feast. It's unfair to even say Adams is the 2 at this point in his career. Moving on to Allen Lazard. Okay, we finally found another F-tier wide receiver too. Nobody wants Allen Lazard as their 2. I'm sorry to break it to you, Jets fans. You need another wide receiver. I would be devastated if Allen Lazard was my wide receiver 2. Yes, I would rather have Pop Douglas as a Patriots fan. Moving on to Jawan Jennings. He cooked my Pats last season. But with that being said, I can't put him above a D tier. He's a big explosive play guy, but you're going to need a little bit better from your wide receiver too, in my opinion. Moving on to Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp is super underrated. I think at this point in his career, you got to put him in that B tier, though. Something's not sitting right with me in this list, though. I think I'm going to have to swap Xavier Worthy and Jameson Williams. I'm moving Williams up to an A, moving Xavier Worthy down to a B. I think for the same reason. Worthy hasn't had the season Williams has had yet in his career. Williams proved it last year that he's a very good wide receiver, too. Worthy, we haven't seen it yet in a full season. Next year, I'm sure Worthy will go up and be on the same tier, but I had to fix that. It was bothering me way too much. Moving on to Rashad Bateman, I believe that is, of the Baltimore Ravens. I think he's a good wide receiver, too. Not great. I think I'd put him on that same tier as those guys in the C tier with Michael Wilson, Debo, Wan'Dale Robinson, Rome Odunze. I think that's completely fair. He just got an extension. Shout out Rashad Bateman. Moving on to T. Higgins. Okay, I know I've said some things. This guy is probably, I don't know. I have to think about it. But T. Higgins is going up there for wide receiver too. To me, It's between T. Higgins, Devonta Smith, and Davante Adams for your top 3 wide receiver 2s. We'll decide who the best is at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. But we've got 5 more wide receivers to go. I believe that is Cedric Tillman. I think that that's Cedric Tillman. I hope that that's Cedric Tillman. If that's Cedric Tillman, we're putting him in F. I'm not disrespecting him. I'll put him in D. I'll put Cedric Tillman in D. I don't think he's as bad as Mike Williams and Allen Lazard. I think he's super underrated. We just need to see him more. He's a big play guy. We've seen a lot of flashes from him last year, but wasn't exactly the most consistent at getting open last season. Moving on to what I believe to be Robert Woods for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I would say that that's an F tier wide receiver too. I think Robert Woods still has a little bit left in the tank, but as your wide receiver 2, oh my goodness, I would be pissed if I was a Steelers fan. I really wish for Pittsburgh's fans they still had DK and George Pickens, but no. You got Robert Woods and DK Metcalf. Absolutely hilarious. Shout out to Mike Tomlin in that front office. Moving on to Christian Kirk as a wide receiver 2 at this point in his career. I'll put him in D tier. I think he's just a better wide receiver 3. His best time, to me, was in Arizona / his first year in Jacksonville. Get him as a wide receiver 3, Houston. Jalen Noel or Jaden Higgins will take over the wide receiver 2, don't you worry. Texans wide receiver room will look very good, and thanks to Christian Kirk, who is a solid wide receiver 2, but I'm putting him in D tier. Moving on to Alec Pierce. I can't put him in the same tier as those guys in D. I'm sorry. He's not as good as any of those guys in D. He's at the top of F, though. At the very, very top of F. I think that he bounces in between. I don't think he's the 2. Josh Downs is better than him, so this is just disrespectful to him, and I feel bad. Khalil Shakir is our final wide receiver. Is that Khalil Shakir? I thought Shakir was the 1. Hang on. Is that Khalil Shakir? I can't tell if that's Khalil Shakir. Is that Keon Coleman? Oh, that's Keon Coleman. Oh, Keon Coleman as the wide receiver 2. I'm not putting him as high as Khalil Shakir. I would have put Shakir in the C, but Keon Coleman to me is going to be in that D tier. I think that he has a lot of promise, but we just have not seen it yet. So to decide our top 4 wide receiver 2s in the NFL, let's go through it. We got T. Higgins, Devonta Smith, Davante Adams, and George Pickens. I think Pickens can stay there at the number 4. So now it's a decision between 3, 2, and 1. I think last season Adams did slip up a little bit. He's still a top 10 wide receiver to me. Is he though? If I'm saying he's a top 10 wide receiver, he's easily the best wide receiver 2 because T. Higgins and Devonta Smith are not 2 top 10 wide receivers. I just think Davante Adams is the best wide receiver 2. I'm putting him at 1. It doesn't seem fair, but Davante Adams is the best wide receiver 2 in the NFL. I'm sorry, it is what it is. I'll say T. Higgins is 2nd, Devonta Smith 3rd, George Pickens 4th, and Chris Godwin is 5th in our wide receiver 2s in the NFL. Let me know what you thought of this list. What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? I'm sure that there's plenty of things that you don't agree with, but hopefully I didn't piss you off too bad. Hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, and comment what video you want to see next. Appreciate you all for watching. Thank you so much, and until next time, guys, peace out.